So if you're feeling stress with your situation or any situation at this point, I want you guys to practice a tool. I want you to try this technique. I want you to take 30 seconds. I want you to write down everything that's going on, everything that's wrong. And it might not even be one specific situation. It might be everything in your whole life right now. And as you're listing this thing off, I want to maybe set a timer if you need to, but take the 30 seconds and list it everything. Then, after that's done, I want you to go back and start looking at all these items on this list, all these situations, and say, okay, can I control this? Can I control this? Can I control this? And cross off all the items on that list that you cannot control. You've just eliminated things that you're stressing over that you have absolutely no control over. Those things do not matter. We cannot do anything about those things. But the things that are left on that list, those are things that we can spend some time on. Those are things that we can control. We have an influence on them. We can do something to make some changes. So at the very least, you're left off with a few things left on this list. This is where you take action. This is what you act on. You act on what you can. The things you cannot control, you cannot spend any more energy on them. This feeling of frustration and stress is not helping. Put those aside. You cannot control how much your boss wants you to do. Unless maybe you say, listen, I need you to turn down the volume on what you're giving me here. Turn down the water hose here. You're doing too much. Maybe people around you are asking too much. So maybe there is some component control in those items. And if that's the case, then let's take some action towards those. But let's pretend that those things are not what we're focusing on. Let's focus on things that you can control. Do what you can with what you have, right? Act on those things you can control. You can control how much water you're taking in. You can control how much activity you're getting in to some extent. Maybe it's not when you want to take it. Maybe it's not when the sunlight's out. Maybe it's not at the perfect time of day for you, but you can still control how much activity you get. You can still control your nutrition in some aspect. In some component, in some way, you can still focus on your nutrition. And these are two examples, but overall, you have this list of items that you have some sort of control over, and they're influencing your stress and your frustration. So focus on those first. And once you've taken action on those, you should immediately feel better. I would say immediately you'll feel better. But if not, if you don't, then move on to the things that you can influence but don't have control over. But in the end, there's a whole bunch of things on that list that you cannot control. I don't want you spending any energy on that at all. I want you to spend on the energy on things that you can influence, whether it's towards your fitness goal or any other aspect of your life. Focus on the items that you have control over. Focus on what you can make changes with, and everything else is crossed off and thrown out.